Hello, my YouTube family. We are going to make the stuffed pepper stew that got the most votes for it. So I'm going to show you what we have to make it, and then it's real easy, it's simple, and it goes right in the crock pot. So you can make this a crock pot meal, put it on in the morning, cook it slow so the peppers cook through, and you can just let it cook for a couple of hours, and then you can have dinner. So we have ground beef. Now you can use ground turkey if you want to make it a little bit healthier. I've always used ground beef, but you can use ground turkey. 4 peppers. I had green peppers in the house, so I'm going to use that, but you can use any color peppers. It doesn't matter. You need a can of sauce, and we're going to add some water to this and some seasonings because we're going to doctor this up a little bit. You need a half a cup of rice, and this is going to be to add to our ground beef. Salt and pepper to taste, and you need onion and garlic powder. And then you need your crock pot, which I have my crock pot here, that we're going to put everything in. But first what we're going to do is we are going to get our peppers together, and then we will throw those in the pot with the sauce and the seasonings and get the peppers going while I'll show you how I do with the meat. So let me get the peppers going. Okay, you want to cut the peppers in strips. So I just got a bag here to grab all the seeds and everything. And we're just gonna cut this down, get the seeds and everything out of here. And we were gonna cut them up. There we go. We're just gonna cut them right down the middle, so you split them open, take all the seeds out, and then we're gonna cut them in strips and throw them right into our crock pot. I'm just gonna get this all situated real quick. Get all these seeds and everything out so we can get this going in our crock pot. Alrighty, one more pepper. And after we get the peppers done and we get our sauce in and our seasonings and stuff in, then we're going to put our rice on to get that going. You want to cook your rice. I use instant rice so it don't take long. And because you need that to cool down to work with it, to put it into your ground beef. Alrighty. Now we want to cut them in strips. And we're going to throw them right into our crock pot. You want them about that size. If you have some that are a little thicker, you want to try to get them all around the same size. So, but if you get a couple that are a little thicker, they'll just take a little bit longer to soften. And you want the peppers in first with the sauce, because this is what's going to flavor your sauce to give it the pepper flavor. So we're going to throw all that in there. Now, if you don't want the pepper flavor, you can use less peppers. You'll still have the flavor of it, but not as strong. And if you don't like peppers at all, then you can leave them out and just do like the meatballs with the rice and stuff in the sauce, and you can still do that. I mean, I've always made stuffed peppers where you stuffed them with the rice and the meat and cooked them. I was never a big fan of putting raw meat into peppers. So when I saw the stuffed pepper stew, And I'm like, well, so let me try to make it my version of that. And I made my version of it, and I cooked my meatballs first before I threw them in here, like 3/4 of the way through. And then I just did it that way and threw them in the sauce, and everybody really liked it. So I said, you know what, this is one to keep for the books. So let me see, we got okay. I might not use this last pepper, but I'm going to cut it up, and because we have quite a bit in there. Let me see if I can move you around so you can see. We have quite a bit of peppers in there, so I think I'm going to just dice up this last pepper, and I'll pop that in the freezer. Yes, you can freeze peppers, but once you freeze them, you can only use them for cooking. If you want them for like a vegetable platter, I would suggest not freezing them and just using them raw that way. Okay, this is garlic, and we will throw that out in a minute. I'm going to get a bag and get that going. This last pepper we'll save to throw in for when I do like maybe a breakfast for dinner, and I'll make an egg bake, and I'll throw some peppers and stuff like that in it, make it a vegetarian one, and do that. Okay, just wash my hands real quick. Alrighty. We have our peppers in there, and get my can opener. I'm going to bring over the sauce and our seasonings. I'm going to throw our sauce in there. I do have a little bit of sauce that I saved that I popped in the freezer that we're going to throw in here too. And that will just thaw out as it's cooking. And move you over this way so you can see what I'm doing. We have 1 can of whatever sauce you like. It doesn't matter. You can use jar sauce, you can use canned sauce, whatever you prefer. I have don't wanna come loose. Alright. Well, getting loose in there, but it don't want to come loose. All right, we'll have to worry about that later. So you need some water. I would say, because it's going to thicken up on you, so you definitely want about a half a can of water. I'm going to put that in there. We're going to add some seasonings. We got some salt. I would say about, I don't know, salt and pepper to taste. I don't really measure any seasonings. So it's whatever you prefer. If you like it with a little more garlic, then you can add some garlic powder. If not, then you can add some garlic salt. And we're just going to add a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder. I don't know, about a teaspoon of each, I would say. salt and pepper to taste. Let me get my spoon so we can give this a stir. I can get this, put that over there. Just give this a quick stir, and as soon as I can get, this is just the same sauce, I just had it frozen in the thing, which now I don't want to come out of its container, so I'll have to work on that in a little bit and throw that in there. So we got our sauce and our peppers. We're going to turn this on low. You want to cook the peppers a little bit because the meat is going to take a little bit. So you want to cook the peppers on low for, I don't know, about maybe an hour, and then we're going to get our meat and everything together, and we will throw our meatballs in the oven, and then we'll throw them in the sauce here. So what we're going to do next is you need a half a cup of rice. So what we're going to do is you want to get this going because you want the rice to cool down, because you need it to work with to mix it through the meat. So we're going to put a half a cup of water in the pot. We only need a half a cup of rice. And we are going to do a half a cup of rice. Once this boils, okay, once this boils on the stove, then we will add our rice to it, set it off to the side for about 15 minutes, and let it do its thing. I'm going to move you around. We're going to put our, sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy, I apologize, I don't mean to do that. We're going to move our meat over here. Throw that can away because we don't need that can. We're going to get our rice going. Get the water boiling for it. So we're going to turn that up. We just let this boil, put the rice in, give it a mix, shut off the burner, and push it to the back of your stove and just let it sit for about 15 minutes. So once that's done and we get the meatballs all set, I will come back and show you how I put the meat together and how I cook off my meatballs. Okay, this is about 2.5 pounds of ground beef, and we're just going to add some salt and pepper. Just to taste, it's how much you want of the salt and pepper in there, just to give the meat a little bit more flavor. And we're going to throw some salt in there, some more onion powder, it's about a teaspoon of onion powder and about a teaspoon of garlic powder, just to give the meat a little bit of extra flavor. And then we have our rice. Our rice is all done, so we're going to add our rice in. This is going to act as our binder, so we don't need an egg or anything like that. Okay, got that all situated. I'll just throw this in the sink. And we're going to spray our pan. You want to set your oven because we're going to bake these in the oven before we put them in our crock pot. So set your oven to 375. Spray your pan. I'm going to use the throwaway pan. Sprayed that. Now we're going to mix all this in. You want to get it all incorporated, the rice all incorporated in here. This is going to act, the rice is going to act as a binder, so we don't need to put an egg in here. And we're just going to mix this around real good. Make sure we got everything mixed with some rice. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now you want to make your meatballs about let's say about that size. So once I get all these meatballs done, we'll pop them in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes. When that's done, I'll show you what the meatballs look like when they come out of the oven. Okay, I made mine a little big, but you can make them smaller than this if you like. Let me move that so you can see the whole complete pan. There you go. I made them big, but you can make them smaller if you like. What we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of foil on this, because we want to cover it, and then we will put it in the oven for 20 minutes. Once that's done, I will come back and show you what the meatballs look like. Okay, this is what the meatballs look like. I just took them out of the oven. Sorry about that. I just took them out of the oven. They need a little bit more time because I just made them a little bit too big, so they're going to need about another 15 minutes or so in the oven. So these are going to take about 45 minutes altogether because I made them pretty big. I should have made them a little bit smaller. But I'm going to pop them back in for about another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, and then we will check them after that. Okay, let's take a look. This has the peppers. The peppers are still hard, but they're going to soften up once this cooks a couple of hours. So once the meatballs are done, I'm going to leave a couple, like 4 meatballs out for my oldest son, because he can't have anything with tomatoes because he's allergic to tomatoes. So I will keep his out, and the rest of the meatballs I will throw in the crock pot. Once everything is in the crock pot, I usually turn mine to high and let it cook an additional 2 or 3 hours on high. Then check it and see if it needs additional time. You want your peppers to be soft, so that's what's going to take the longest in the crock pot. It's going to take a couple hours for that. So I will come back once everything is together in the crock pot, and I will show you what it looks like in the, with the meatballs and all that in the crock pot. Okay, the meatballs are all cooked, so now we're going to go and put them into our crock pot. So I'm going to move yous over this way. Oop, sorry. Okay, and we're going to keep 4 meatballs out, and we're going to put the other ones in here. I keep 4 out for my son. 2, 3, 4. There we go. And I'm going to let these cook in here the rest of the way. I'm going to put them all in here. I will put my son's meatballs in something so he has them for later. So they're all in there. We are going to turn it up to high, put the lid on, and let it cook for 2 hours, and then we'll check it again, and then see if the peppers are soft and see if it needs the extra hour. So I'll come back when we check it in 2 hours. Okay, this is after 2 hours. We got the meatballs are still good in here. The peppers, let me see if I can try to get it a pepper so you can see. They're nice and soft. They go right through. I'll put put it down here so you can see. Got pepper. Went right through, cuts right through, so they're nice and soft. So, what I normally do with this is you can eat it like this with a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. You can make some rice and you can pour it over some rice. Like with me, I'm gonna make, I have some white pasta and I have some wheat pasta. So I'm gonna make the spaghetti and we're gonna have that over that. So once I get the spaghetti going, I will show you my plate of what it looks like. Okay, this is what my bowl looks like. I got some wheat pasta with some meatballs, the stuffed pepper meatballs with the peppers and some Parmesan cheese. And we got some bread with butter. And that is our dinner for Saturday. This was the one that we did for the poll. And everybody wanted to see the stuffed pepper stew. Like I said, you can make this with pasta. You can eat it the way it is. You can make rice and put it over rice. However you choose to do it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you as part of the YouTube family. If you go out, please stay safe and always remember to believe in yourself. I love you all. Take care, everyone. Bye.